Hey everyone, I wanted to create a welcome video in which I introduce you to our English 302 class. Hey, our English 302 class is going to be a lot of fun. So English 302 is a class that focuses on one thing only. We focus on rhetoric and argument. Essentially, we could argue that's two things, right? But the entire foundation of our class is going to come down to an analysis of rhetoric and argument. And I've taught this class both online and on ground. And I've used these textbooks before. It's a really fun class. It's going to go by quick. We got about 6 weeks, but I just wanted to talk about the books for class and then kind of talk about our agenda for class. So there's a couple of books that we're going to be using, and the first one we're going to use is Into the Wild. And Into the Wild is a book by Jon Krakauer, and it's a really great book because the main character in Into the Wild, a lot of students can relate to, and this kid does something kind of foolish, right? As he's getting ready to graduate from college, he basically sells all his possessions, cuts off all contact from his parents, and kind of just disappears in the wild, and no one really knows what happened to him. And 6 months later, he walks into Alaska with 6 pounds of rice and a pistol and tries to live off the land and ends up dying of starvation. And Jon Krakauer, who's the author of the book, really wants to know what would motivate a kid who has everything going for him, coming from a well-to-do family, having lots of money, why he would go and make such a rash decision. And what I found with this book is that the arguments it raises are really engaging. Students really like the book, and it's a lot of fun to teach. So in the next 3 weeks, we're going to start kind of looking at Into the Wild. We're going to get into the first 4 chapters in week 1. Some students said that they may have read it before and they really appreciate coming back and re-looking at the book and looking at it from an argumentative perspective. We're going to end the last 3 weeks of class with a book called The Hate U Give, and this is a book which will allow us to look at some contemporary arguments in society, allows us to look at some issues that deal with race and racism in America. And I've been using this book for the last several years. Really great student response. There's a lot of interesting arguments. And it's a great debate within class. Some students don't like the argument, some people agree with it, but it's going to be a lot of fun to look at. The other thing is, this is going to be our textbook. It's called Everything is an Argument, and it will be helpful because this is the textbook that will help us understand rhetoric, understand argument, understand how logos, pathos, ethos work, and understand fallacies. So we will use this book in a 6-week class. It goes pretty fast, but I want to make sure that we use all the books. And then the last book, we're going to look at some essays from the Siegel Reader Essays. There'll be several papers that you'll write on this, and we'll read several of the articles. So what I just want to do was just kind of introduce myself to you, to class, kind of understand the books that we're looking for. And I know it's a 6-week class. It's going to move really fast, but it does all work out. You have a couple goals for the first week, is to make sure you send me a welcome email that introduces you to class, and then once I have that welcome email, I'll know who's in class and I can deal with some ads. And then you've got quite a bit of work to do for week 1. So I look forward to seeing what you think of rhetoric and argument and Into the Wild in week 1. And if you have any other questions, you can just send me an email and let me know what you need from me. All right, I'll look forward to reading your comments.